Welcome to the Future Game Show. I'm Matt, he's Tom, and these are the top 6 zombie games that you need to keep an eye out for in 2026. Tom, you're kicking us off. Go for it.
So I'm going to go with Quarantine Zone: The Last Check. So now a mashup that nobody was going to expect, a mixture of Papers, Please and Call of Duty, because of course. So basically what happens is you're in charge of a checkpoint during a zombie outbreak, and you've got tools to spot people coming in, and you've got to basically check whether they are already a zombie, probably not, but if they've been bitten, so you can see through their clothes, you can see if they've got an infection, like the temperature spiking, but also there's really weird stuff, like you can also see if they've smuggled a grenade up their bum, because that is something that apparently you need to watch out for, or just a massive wheel of cheese, not with the bum, but anyway, you've got to check for all of these various things, and then you've got to let people in, and then once you've let people in, you've got to also like upgrade your base so you can have more people, and the more people that you let through that aren't zombies, you get more money from the government, and the zombies that you then do tests on, you get more money. It's a base building game to win.
Love it.
The other really cool thing about it is there are breaks where the wall will go down, or sometimes zombies can just fall off buildings that are higher than you. And anyway, so then you've got to break out the drones that obviously have guns on them. So that's where the Call of Duty element comes in. It's like doing old drone strikes, but then also if you want to get up close and personal, you can just pull out your gun and just take care of them yourself. So there are so many things going on here, and it's just something that you haven't really seen before, and I love the management side of it, and then every now and again you just get to pull out a gun. It's been made by Brigada Games, and it's published by Devolver Digital. So at the moment it's just going to be coming out on Steam, but what's amazing is if you're interested in zombie games, it's out right now. So if you like the look of it, there's also a demo, so you can go and try it.
Yeah, love it. Already seen it going viral because people are playing the demo, and the clips on TikTok and YouTube Shorts and stuff are going viral. People are having a lot of fun with it. A bit goofy. It's not going to blow you away in terms of like graphics, no ray tracing and all that nonsense. Yeah. But an easy to get to grips with game, fun, different, yeah. Exactly. Bit tongue-in-cheek, great humor, love it. So my next pick, let's talk about Toxic Commando. So this is a 4-player co-op, very like Left 4 Dead. It's not going to do anything like brand new, really. It's like kind of the next Left 4 Dead, right? Like your 4-player co-op. Like I say, in the reveal trailer, the 4 protagonists are driving through a horde of zombies while singing to Bon Jovi. So that's kind of the tone that we're going for here. Made in collaboration with John Carpenter. It's John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. So yeah, lots of humor, 80s style horror, that kind of thing. Gameplay looks great. A lot of people have already played the demo, and the previews are really positive on the gameplay and moment-to-moment gunplay, which is awesome. Made by Saber Interactive. They've just recently made Space Marine 2 and World War Z, so you know they can deal with like thousands of zombies on screen running at you all at one time. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be anything groundbreaking here. Really, the sort of new feature, the thing that's setting this apart from Left 4 Dead and those sorts of games, is the vehicles. So the maps are going to be quite large. You're going to need to get into vehicles with your teammates to traverse them to get to objectives. There's like a weird sticky goo all over the maps, so all of the vehicles have grappling hooks to get you out of the goo. So almost like a game that kind of did well over the last few months, RV There Yet, which is all about you and your crew kind of getting an RV across difficult terrain with winches and various things. So it's adding that kind of like, what do they call it, friend slop, co-op, goofy element to tight gunplay, awesome zombie carnage and mayhem.
That sounds great. I'm very excited for this. Very excited for that. I didn't realise that Saber were doing it as well. So Space Marine 2, having that thing where you have all of this horde coming over the hill, I can imagine it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, they're the perfect team to handle this. Also coming in at a lower price point, $40, £35 currently. Coming out on March 12th, coming to PS5, Xbox, PC, everything. So soon, play it with your friends. I think this is going to be a popular one in that sort of almost more AAA version of friend slop that we've been seeing, like your Peaks and your RV There Yet. It's going to attract that kind of audience, but also Call of Duty Zombies, Left 4 Dead. If you loved all those games,
Space Marine 2.
Space Marine 2,
Fantastic.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay, so my next one is Holstin. So this is something that I don't think many people would have seen before. It's a 2D isometric pixel art zombie survival puzzle game. So it's set in a creepy 90s Polish town where you travel to in order to find your lost friend, but instead you find zombies going around the town, and the town's covered in slime, and it's got very like Silent Hill vibes, but you exchange the mist and the clouds for slime. it offers this kind of classic survival horror look with it's kind of like the old Resident Evil games.
Yeah.
But instead of messing around where you're kind of like pressing up to try and get a headshot and it's just impossible, as soon as the zombies come, you can go straight to first person mode and just get that headshot or swing a bat at them and take them down. But the other nice thing about it is because you can change the camera control, because you're in charge of it, you can change from first person to 2D. You can also move the camera around, so the puzzles are about like, oh, well, you can't see that wall because of where you're looking at, and then you move the camera around and then you can see that there's a hint on that wall. So again, it's this, and you can move outside and it changes the dynamic of everything.
Yeah.
So it's just a very different looking game.
And I've played the demo for this one on Steam.
Okay.
It's well worth checking out.
Yeah.
Everything you said is spot on. Yeah, that movement from the camera kind of being that isometric 2.5D style to third person over the shoulder, more classic style Resident Evil when you're shooting is awesome. And it works so well. It works better than it should. This pixel art aesthetic is brilliant. It's very Silent Hill, like you were saying, like old school Resident Evil, but also Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Especially in like kind of the NPCs and the eeriness. Like some people clearly know that stuff's going on, but some people are like oblivious to it in a weird way. There's really weird stuff going on. It's tonally very strange and mysterious. So if you like Silent Hill 2, I think you'll love this. And at the end of the demo, you jump into a car and drive out of town. And the driving is brilliant. Driving's first person. Very, again, keeps that weird aesthetic to it, but sort of alludes to this game is going to be much bigger than we think. You know, there's going to be these sort of hub areas, like you say, that you're going around inside, outside of buildings, solving puzzles, and then you're going to be able to travel between these different hubs to like figure out what's going on and how to escape. Really impressed with it. Check it out.
So they've said that it's coming to PC, PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One and Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch, but it was originally going to come out in 2024, and there is a demo on Steam people can play, which I highly recommend. But at the moment, they haven't actually announced a release date. But considering it was going to come out in 2024, and there is a demo, and Team 17 have come on to publish it, fingers crossed it's going to come out in 2026, hopefully sooner rather than later.
I think it's likely to still hit 2026, so we will see it hopefully later this year. But definitely go check out the demo; it's well worth your time. So my next pick is a bit of an obvious one. We've got to talk about Resident Evil Requiem. Look, we had to put it in the list. It's kind of the originator of zombie video games, if you like. And I think it's in a really interesting spot this year in 2026. You know, 7 kind of reinvented the franchise by putting it in this first-person mode, by making it a much smaller scale, and kind of almost separating itself from Resident Evil entirely. 8, I think, was kind of received mixingly by people. A lot more action-focused, still kept that first-person view. And they added third person way after launch. So I think a lot of people missed the third person aspect of Resident Evil 8. And then obviously Remake 2 and 4 with Leon did incredibly well for Capcom, and they absolutely nailed it. Brought those classic games to a whole new audience that never played them, and I think it's got everybody really excited for 9. 9, we know, is going to follow a new protagonist, Grace. They've shown off a lot of first person gameplay with her, although they've said you can absolutely play this game in first person or third person from any moment. You just switch it over in the settings at any point, play it the way you want to play it. And of course you can play as Leon as well in the campaign. We don't know how involved that's going to be. We don't know how much you're going to play as Leon. Is it 50-50? We just don't know.
He's got a chainsaw though. That's all I care about.
He's got a chainsaw. He's kicking people in the face. It's all the Resident Evil goodness that you want, mixed with some of that new school Resident Evil stuff that people liked from 7 and 8.
We're going back to Raccoon City as well.
And we're going back to Raccoon City, which obviously when you bring Leon in, I think you need to go back to Raccoon City for the fans. Like people are going to be super excited to re-explore a lot of those old locations that are iconic from 2 and 3. And hopefully we get to go back to like the RPD, you know, the police station from 2, even though it's been nuked. What's going to be left of it? Who knows? According to the trailer, a significant amount of it, considering it got a nuke dropped on it, essentially.
Exactly.
How has that survived?
Yes. Again, so many interesting things are going to happen, and it's going to be great. Hopefully, and they seem to be melding everything that everybody's loved from the last couple of games, remakes or new ones, and putting it together in this.
Exactly. And so, really exciting to see where the Resident Evil franchise goes. It's coming out soon, February 27th, 2026, on PC, PS5, and Xbox, and it is hitting that unfortunate new AAA price tag of $70. So enjoy that. Maybe wait for a sale if you want to wait for a sale.
Games Pass?
No, not coming to Game Pass as far as I know.
Wow.
Unfortunate. But there we go. What's your next pick, Tom?
Projekt Z Beyond Order. So, does anybody remember when Call of Duty Zombies was good, as in like the first couple, and they didn't get a bit too ridiculous, and it was just quite simple. Well, this is giving me massive vibes of that. So Project Z Beyond Order is a mix of Left 4 Dead and Call of Duty World War II as a 4-player co-op first-person shooter set in World War II. You need to upgrade and repair your weapons, and there are lovely little things where your weapons will degrade. They won't break, a la Zelda, and get rid of them if you've got your favourite weapons. The thing that I really like about this is, as they get worse and worse and you don't repair them, they'll jam. So you'll be in the middle of a firefight and all of a sudden it'll jam and you'll be able to reload again, but all of it, like, that fear is bad. So there's lovely little touches they've done with that. There's a bunch of different classes to play as a 4-player co-op. You've got things like a medic with a sniper that if you, kind of like Overwatch, if you shoot your teammate, it heals them, which is quite nice. You've got a gunner that has a stationary turret, but on top of the stationary turret, they have a gas that is emitted and it slows the zombies down the closer they get. Then there's your standard flamethrower, but they've done nice synergies where if the flamethrower guy is standing near to the turret with the gas ignites.
Oh, cool.
And so there's lovely little things. They're clearly thinking a lot about the synergies with this. But the other nice thing is as well, obviously we all like co-op games. There's been some fantastic ones the last couple of years, but there is a class specifically that if you just want to play on your own, there is the Trapper, and you can set a bunch of traps, and this has been designed specifically for somebody who's playing solo. So if your friends aren't able to join you, you can just play on that class. So they've thought a lot about this, and they've done a lot of dev diaries on YouTube about the game coming out and things that they've changed and all that kind of stuff. There is a base that you and your mates can upgrade and change, and this is where you'll get where you'll repair your guns, and there's a shooting gallery so you can try out new ones and all that kind of like good jazz. But again, it goes back to this thing of you're not getting a gun with a massive magazine. It's these old World War II guns that we know that gives you that trepidation where you've only got, say, 8 shots in a rifle. You can upgrade them. You know, it's got a sniper rifle that can shoot people for health. So obviously not all of them are the same. But there's a nice thing where, like, it's going back to this old school World War II. Again, who doesn't love shooting Nazi zombies? It's just fantastic. So it's coming out on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. And it's a bit confusing, because on Amazon it's been listed as it's coming out in December 31st, 2026. So the last day of the year in 2026.
Okay.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
They've also got pre-orders floating around in different places at between $30 and $40. But on Steam says just TBC and there's no price. And other places have listed it as free to play. Lots of confusing information out about this. But Project Z Beyond Order they've said that it's coming out in 2026.
Yeah.
To some platforms at some price.
But
again, I don't think you can put a price on shooting Nazi zombies,
well,
so I don't mind.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm excited for this one. I was a massive fan of the old school Nazi zombies on like World at War and other Call of Duty games, and have kind of drifted off as it's got more fantastical and a bit, sci-fi and weird. And so yeah, I'm well excited to go back to an old school zombie horde shooter.
Yeah, I think it'd be great.
Love it.
Right, what's the last one?
So before we get into the last one, remember here at FGS we're all about finding you your next favourite game. So if you've enjoyed this so far, subscribe, follow, do all the things on all the social platforms as we get into our last one, which many of you are going to be angry about in the comments. But I'm throwing in State of Decay 3 as our last 2026 zombie game pick. Now,
wait, this is for 2026, not 2027.
Sure, 2028, we'll see. But I believe, and sometimes you have to put out into the universe what you want to see, and I believe, and I want to see it. So I've got a list of pros and cons as to why this may or may not launch in 2026. But before we get there, State of Decay. If you don't know what State of Decay is, State of Decay 1 and 2 were greatly successful, sort of smaller scale zombie game projects.
Yeah.
But really successful for what they were. It's all about building a community in the zombie apocalypse. So permadeath exists, so if you die as a character, they are gone forever. They even show up as infected in the world, so as you go out as your other characters to try and like loot what they had on their body, you might run into them as a zombie. And yeah, it's all about building this community. So you pick a spot where you want to sort of set up camp, and then it's about going out, finding resources to build that camp up, but also finding people who are capable of building that camp up. So you might go out and find an army guy cowering in a hospital somewhere, and you're like, well, you can use guns really good, come back to my settlement with me. Like I said, permadeath is a huge part of this game, as is sort of driving around these open worlds, these towns that feel lived in and feel real, and like you say, looting up and seeing what you can find. It's got a great mechanic as well, as when you're looting, you can speed up the looting process, but make more noise, and that might attract zombies. So you're constantly playing this risk assessment game of saying, well, do I want to look through this locker really, really quickly? I risk
I've got
making
this,
a
I've got
noise.
this mental image of like, you know, like a field, and you can see zombies, and you're trying to work out how far away they are, and then you open the thing and you go, I really need that, and you go, can I do it? Can I hit the X button? And then just be like, "Argh!" and they all start running over.
Yeah, and it's great. And because that permadeath thing exists, I think like the deeper you get into the game, the more comfortable you feel. You know how to defeat zombies more easily. You have bigger firepower.
Yeah.
You get all that hubris, and you start looking through things really quickly, and then all of a sudden, your best character has died out in the field, and you're set back so far. It's a great game. It's a great game. People love it. State of Decay 3. So, will it actually come out this year? Let's have a look. So, Xbox already have a very stacked lineup this year. So these are reasons that it might not come out in 2026. Xbox already has a very stacked, rumored lineup this year. They've got a Halo remake, they've got Fable, Forza, and maybe a new Gears game all coming out this year. So do they put another big hitter in that roster? I don't know. We haven't heard any news about this game for about a year. The last trailer came out about a year ago, and we've heard nothing since. And Xbox have been cancelling projects like nobody's business. Perfect Dark being kind of the biggest one there that they kind of cancelled out of the blue.
We'd seen about as much of Perfect Dark as we'd seen of State of Decay.
That's true, actually.
So there's that level of like,
maybe more.
Yes.
But yes. But when Perfect Dark did get cancelled, Jez Corden, who's a big sort of, reports really well on Xbox on Twitter, said that the layoffs that caused the Perfect Dark cancellation, that State of Decay 3 was safe from these layoffs, but also reiterated that Microsoft is inconsistent, so you can never know what they'll do next year, or next quarter. But we've been gone a long time since State of Decay 2. So State of Decay 2 launched in 2018. It got its last content update in October of 2024. So again, around when that trailer came out for State of Decay 3. So it's been a solid year now that you assume that studio has been entirely focused on State of Decay 3.
They didn't have to do that update. There's a massive fan base behind it.
People are excited for this game, so I think it's coming. I think it could come this year.
I think that I know the games you've talked about are big hitters and stuff, but it's not like the studio is. There's one studio making all of them. These are all separate studios. There's also, it does fit into a gap within those games.
Yeah.
Like I think it does fill a niche.
Yes, I think it's an exciting one. I think it'll obviously have co-op as well. Now, co-op was one of the things that people really didn't like in State of Decay 2. It wasn't implemented great. The way like loot is like, if we're playing together, I can only loot specific containers and you can only loot specific containers. We can't like easily share that stuff. So it wasn't perfectly executed. Now they've had a long time to improve that, and I think they have. So I'm excited for it. I think it hits that co-op niche. It hits, an extra bit of content for Game Pass, which Xbox really needs to keep the subscriber base up.
Especially like a live service. They haven't got loads of them.
And Xbox has been leaning a little bit in the last couple of years on shadow dropping games.
That is true.
They did it with Hi-Fi Rush. They did it with the Oblivion remake. They did it with Hi-Fi Rush in a developer direct at the end of January.
Was that a developer direct?
It was a developer direct at the end of January, and they that was last 2 years ago.
Wow.
And they just dropped it in that developer direct right at the end. So there is a rumored developer direct coming at the end of January. By the time you're watching this, maybe you've already seen it, and maybe everything we're talking about is
Hi-Fi Rush and an Oblivion remake are different things.
To State of Decay 3.
The State of Decay 3.
I don't know.
Fiverr. It's Fiverr. They won't shadow drop it. I bet you £5. I think it will
Deal.
come.
Deal.
$5, whatever.
There we go.
They're not shadow dropping there.
We'll see. I have faith. Shadow drop in January, or at least we will see it in the developer direct, and it will come. Because if you're going to release a game like this and you're going to pick the perfect time, it's Halloween. So do you date it for like an October? You show it off in the January direct and date it for an October? Maybe.
That would work.
I believe. No price point on this yet. Could be that AAA $70. Could be cheaper. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a $40 price point. I'd hope it kind of is. Obviously, it will be coming to Game Pass day one. PC, Xbox. No word yet on PS5, but Xbox new strategy would suggest that they'd probably bring it to PS5, maybe 6 months of exclusivity. Maybe you shadow drop it in January, and then release it on PS5 for Halloween. We can keep our fingers crossed. Pray with me, ladies and gentlemen, for State of Decay 3.
I'm going to make £5.
In 2026.
I don't care.
It's happening. It's happening, I believe. If you've enjoyed this video, thank you so much for staying all the way through to the end.
Comment down below if you want another list video of anything else that we're excited about to let you know, find out your next favourite game.
Exactly. Genres. We want to hear from you. What genres do you want us to cover in this kind of list style format? Longer, chattier videos. If you like this, let us know. And we will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.